there's different ways that ideas get passed on to us little people. And plans are laundered through different sources, right? Maybe you get a think tank to write an article about whatever, a white paper type thing on a concept. Then a news organization writes an article based on the exploration of this idea. And then, after it's been out there, now elected people bring it up, and it's not like, oh, this wasn't my idea. It's like, based on the reporting of this, that, and the other, like, here's this thing. But now, like, you can kind of get an idea out into the world, right? So there was, when was this? This was a couple weeks ago. November 15th. So whatever that was. Yeah, a week ago. This dude, Greg Sargent, posted this article on the New Republic based off an article in the New York Times. All right. New York Times, they work for the DNC, essentially. And New Republic's whoever they are. But basically, it was this idea that, we'll just go to this thread real quick. Let's see. So Trump's boat bombings in the Caribbean just got worse. An internal DOJ memo says the victims are waging war in the U.S., but per the New York Times, it extensively cites the White House's own claims to this effect as evidence. It gets even darker. The memo purportedly justifying these murders also contains a lengthy section that lays out arguments defending the actions of those carrying out the strikes. In short, it preemptively defends them from potential prosecution later. This is unusual. Ever since bombings began, a big question has been, do those carrying out fear they're being given illegal orders? The officials overseeing them recently resigned with no explanation, prompting Democrats to ask if he'd concluded the bombings are illegal. This memo may signal legal vulnerability for those carrying out the bombings. So they're talking about the airmen or whatever. It signals fear that what they're doing is illegal and that they could possibly be subject to criminal actions under U.S. law and international law. Representative Adam Smith tells me. This could indicate awareness of potential criminal exposure and may reflect consciousness on their part that they're in legally treacherous territory, a former State Department lawyer says. If Democrats win the House, they could get to the bottom of it. Democrats should say this right now, loudly and clearly. Anyone who is trusting Donald Trump, of all people, when he says what he's directing you to do is lawful and that you'll be protected later, may be putting themselves in a precarious position. Okay? So what's this guy saying? He's saying, per this New York Times article with these memos, Democrats and leaders, former, good people, the Department of State or whatever, are like, hey, we think that they know they're doing illegal stuff. And because of that, these soldiers, these airmen, these people carrying out these orders, they know it's illegal. They're vulnerable to go to prison, criminal charges. So, it's just one of those things where you have to, anytime Donald Trump tells you something, you have to really question that order. Donald Trump is the current commander-in-chief, right? Okay. He's commander-in-chief. He is the head of the military. Old Salty Jimmy, our first guest on the program, during Trump's first term, things would be chaotic in the Department of Defense because Trump would tweet something out. We should do this. We're going to do this, right? And the problem was he was the commander-in-chief. So then the heads of the military see, we're going to do this action. We're going to change this policy. And it's the commander-in-chief saying it. So they start moving on that policy, especially if Trump goes, we're going to do it, like starting Monday, we're doing it this way. They go, and so they start trying to execute this thing. And it wouldn't work. There'd be lots of problems. And so, I think it's one of those things. Trump was just talking. He was just talking, and he didn't realize his power as commander-in-chief was like, these are military people, and you're saying things as if it's an order. So they're following the commander-in-chief. So that was problematic. But so, he's the head of the military, right? If you're going to go in and start threatening the young members of the military, not the senior officers, junior officers, enlisted men, and go, hey, you might get court-martialed. You might go to prison for carrying out orders. I don't know. Maybe. And, you should probably question everything you're ever told. Like, chain of command, you need to have a strong inkling that something is wrong. And then you go to superior officer, one up, or there's different avenues. But, so that's things like, murder those children, shoot those children at the daycare over there. Let's get out of here. And you go, you go, I'm not going to do that order. That's clearly, a war crime. Not going to do it. Maybe somebody goes, screw it, and they do it, and you report it later and all that kind of stuff. But there's things that are obvious. Then there's how the U.S. military has operated since at least 2001. After 9/11, we had this authorized use of force in the Middle East, and we've just stretched it, and we bombed countries without going through Congress. We dropped bombs everywhere. Obama killed a U.S. citizen with a drone. He helped bomb a wedding full of innocent people. War crimes. And what we're doing in the Caribbean right now, bombing these quote-unquote drug boats out of Venezuela, I don't think there is a legal justification for it. I think that, they've got this thing, they've named them a terrorist outfit. They go, hey, this narco group, they're terrorists. And this terrorist group is bringing their weapons of fentanyl to the United States to harm citizens. Therefore, we can attack. If you've grown up in the war on terror, like in the military, and you're given an order, take out this terrorist, you do it. And to suddenly now think that it would be clear that sometimes you shouldn't, bomb the bad guys because you don't actually have congressional approval. That is crazy. It's just crazy. Imagine if someone's like, hey, we've got a guy, we got, super bad ISIS leader guy. He's in Lebanon. And he's at this hotel over here, or he's going to be driving through the desert at some point. We're going to need you to run a drone, strike his vehicle, take out the leader of ISIS. You go, okay. You do your stuff, you take him out. Like, hey, leader of ISIS, we got him. And you go, someone who goes, we're striking inside of Lebanon? Why are we doing that? Are we at war with them? Like, no. It's like, okay. But authorized use of force, it's covered. It's covered. And you go, all right. And then everyone agrees Venezuela's kind of a fallen commie narco state. And so they're bad guys, bad gangs. And so now you go, all right, take out the bad gang that's trying to do bad stuff in America. They're supposed to go somehow striking in that country is okay, but striking in the middle of international water isn't okay. It's just it's crazy to threaten these people with legal action, just hoping that they flip on Trump or something.
Well, it's a double-edged sword too, because if you carry out orders and you're risking prosecution, you could also not carry out the orders and risk prosecution for not carrying out orders.
Yeah.
You're trapping people.
Yeah, it becomes, and I think it's been thrown around. The word, unfortunately,